Everybody, what you're looking at is a 2-week reversal in S&Ps, and I've gone over it many times. I'll do it again. It's a very simple signal to learn. All you do is count back 2 weeks, two candles from this week's candle. Look at the close that we had, and if we close under that Friday's close, it's a 2-week reversal to the downside. Works the same way for upside reversals, works the same way for continuation of trend, but we have a 2-week reversal. I talked about how divergences were still intact on the weekly, that they were still intact on the daily, starting to get a little bit oversold, that we didn't have it on the 4 hour, but it looks like the daily and the weekly overrule right here. So people are saying, well, Dale, what are you looking for? So I think it's very possible now that we retest the October low. This was the day that President Trump found out about China restricting strategic metals and went with an emotional response of 100% tariffs on China, which was reversed. This move that we had that we're breaking down from measures down to 65, just a simple measured move would be, so we had the first break here from the highs at 69.20, so call it 200, and from 720 we rallied about 61.8 back to here. So 320 from here is going to give you the 6500 level, and the 6500 level I think will eventually go to, even though I think there'll be some type of response if they reopen the government. But I think we're going to be heading lower into the Fed meeting that may force Powell's hand to go ahead and cut. And my target is down here, right around the 6120. So let me give you a little history lesson here on the S&Ps. Okay, so people know that, was, I don't know, last year where I called the top for 6,100 looking for 48. Okay, this was a big call. And then a reversal for a new high to 7,000, which we almost accomplished. But this 4,800 level, if I tighten it up, was a prior all-time high. Okay. So what is my target besides 38% back at 6,100, 6,140, the prior high? So we may have something like this that tested a previous significant high, and this pullback could pull back to what was a significant high that we had before the tariff tantrums down here. So that's, I think, the meat of the move is going to be 38% retrace of the April rally down to about 6,100. We'll see. We have to take it a day at a time. What's surprising about this break in risk, and we all know who the culprits were, right? Uh, Michael Berry got all over NVDA. Look at that pretty negative week in NVIDIA. Palantir was his other target. That's actually a cube reversal week in Palantir. Maybe we're headed towards 120, even though the CEO was complaining about having bears go after his stock. I think that there's problems here. And, that would be a normal correction. You just go back to even, the end of 2023 was a $14 stock. So, it's been over a 10 bagger. Why can't it pull back, 50%, 38%? So it's really been that. It's been semiconductors as well. Semis, which, being led by NVIDIA. Also, the MAGs putting in a pretty negative week here, too. And we've recently taken out support and actually gapping it. So I think that we could be headed towards 55 into the end of the year. I think the market might break into the Fed meeting. There's an old Wall Street expression that the bears feast on Thanksgiving, and the bulls on Christmas. So, let's get to something that is a little bit surprising, is there was no safe haven bid in the dollar. I'm trying it here at the 1550 level, but we are getting somewhat of not somewhat, we're getting a reversal week in euro. So we started off lower, we're closing higher, and interesting that the response here has been muted. There really wasn't any kind of sell-off. We're above this 15 and a half black line. Euro would have to get back under 1550 for a resumption. So I'll give it over the weekend and see what happens. My initial instinct where we covered shorts was down here 1480, 10 pips from the low. I should have stayed with the reverse out, but I don't live in woulda, coulda, shoulda land. So let's look at the yen. Just tried to rally it a little bit, but it's giving it up. We have broken down from this rising wedge here, and just a measured move on the yen. Let's look at the 4 hour. If we can just take out these lows right here at 53, it's going to measure back to about 51 and a half. And this could end up being a significant top in US dollar yen if yields begin to drop. So here's 150, here's 148. So this could be just the beginning of a turn in the US dollar yen, despite the fact that the new government in Japan is considered dovish, where they'll just let the yen go and weaken. This action is saying maybe not. Moving over to precious metals, you guys know I've been waiting for some type of rally to sell into. All we've done is move sideways. To me, it's no man's land. I won't buy it here. I won't sell it here. I'll sell it here. I might buy it down here for the rally. But to me, it's a no man's land. Same scenario with silver. I'll sell it up here, but maybe if the market really gets going to the downside, silver is not going to be your preferred long because of its sensitivity to economic developments and Bitcoin. So we have to start watching Bitcoin because, I said that we would retest the lows, and that's what we're doing here. We have a little bit of divergence starting to develop. We haven't quite made a new low, so I can't say that yet. Momentum isn't great. So I don't feel like I have to be in a hurry to buy Bitcoin. And Ethereum has a confirmed low here too. So Ethereum, I think when they turn, will lead it. Okay, so just looking at some of the things that I thought were, vulnerable, and it was NVDA, right? Look at that. It's a little bit more than a correction, pretty oversold. It could bounce. Broadcom, not as bad, but not great. And here's Palantir, that has made America rich and Americans retail. So he's saying mainly it's sponsored by retail. I don't know why they'd sponsor a surveillance company, but they've made a lot of money on the upside. We could talk a little bit about energy. We've had a great move in nat gas. We're getting a little bit of divergence here, but it's really done nothing wrong. Yeah, I could see $5 as being a target, the breakaway gap, everything. So, what a difference when you look at energy that I've been pointing out for week after week that natural gas is not WTI. Okay, so it's a different scenario. And I've really been talking about nat gas all the way back down from um, when we pulled back and corrected here at 280. So congratulations if you've had the patience to stay with this trade. I'd still stay with it. Tighten up your stops. Of course, I always believe in partials. So a good week if you were a bear in equities. Yen coming off, that worked. Our targets were met from shorts in euro from 1640 to 1480, and we'll see what happens. It is surprising there's no safe haven bid in the dollar. So we'll see what happens by the end of the day next week. But perhaps the dollar has a deeper correction in it, like I originally thought it could. Um, but, when I look at this, it still is possible that all we are is back to prior highs and that the dollar begins to dig in its heels. I hope that my work and my teachings are helping you in your development as a trader, which is a very difficult task. Stick with it, be disciplined, and at times you have to live through adversity, but you do it for, trades that end up working out pretty good. The semiconductor calls that I added to, they're working now, and it's we do have a breakout. Okay, so here's the SOX on the daily. We're breaking out above this trend line here, unless we reverse badly. Pretty good week that we've had here on the triple bearish ETF. So, here's the SOX. Okay, trying to put in a tail, but very negative week in the market. So we'll see. I would sell into any reopening of the government. That could probably be a fade in the next few weeks. And remember, the Bears feast on Thanksgiving and the Bulls on Christmas. So don't just count your pips, count your blessings. See you next week. See you in the room. Good hunting. And we get to do it all over again next